We are reviewing the thinking processes for inferring audience. First thing that you would do when you're solving any problem is read all of the directions and the passage first. Think about who would be able to relate to the analogy below. For what audience is the author most likely writing? You can't get a driver's license just by passing an online test. You have to log hours of actual driving time to develop the real-time, real-life skills to drive. The same in real-life practice is required for the social and emotional skills you need to navigate life. Direct communication is one of the most important. So what are the parts of this problem? We have a question, we have a setup, and we have the passage. The question is, what am I answering? The setup is, what additional information am I using to answer the question? And the passage is, what text am I using to answer this question? Sometimes the passage will be in a box right there, conveniently placed for you to review. Sometimes it may refer you back to the main passage by paragraph number or line number. If it's referring you back to the main passage, always go back and reread it. Now, the breakdown of this specific problem, what is the question in this specific problem? It's usually the thing with the question mark. So, for what audience is the author most likely writing? Is the question that we are asking. Now we want to know, how are we going to frame our question? There's a setup here. There's words that cue us in to let us know that they want us to think about something very specific. What are those words? Think about. So the authors of this question are giving me a reference, a frame to answer my question within. And then what is the additional information that I should look at? And should I ever ignore this setup? In this case, the authors are telling me, think about who would be able to relate to the analogy below. So I know my question is, what is the audience? And now I'm getting some point of reference or a setup, asking me to look at the analogy. That'll be a clue to me who my audience is. Sometimes if you read the setup, you may get very big clues as to what the answer actually is. In this case, who would be able to relate to the analogy below? Well, analogy, that's one of my vocabulary words. I remember what that means. It means comparing two things. So now I have to break down what are the two things that I'm comparing, because that's going to help me answer who the audience is, right? So I'm going to look at the passage. I'm going to reread it, looking for the analogy. And I notice that I'm getting told to compare getting a driver's license, because it says that I have to log hours. Basically, I have to practice, right? I have to practice to get my driver's license. And then it says I have to practice social and emotional skills so I can navigate life. So the two things I'm comparing is driver's license and social and emotional skills. The question is, who is the audience? I got a setup. I got a big clue. It said, think about the analogy. So who can relate best to getting their driver's license? If you said teenagers, you solved the problem.